Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, I talk a lot about getting kids into fishing, and I think so much about that all the time because it's one of what I feel my responsibility in representing this area and representing something that has been so important in my life. So with all that said, how do you get a kid to start fishing? What do you give them to use? And I've thought a lot about this because in most cases, as we evolve as a fisherman into a more serious fisherman, we want to have the best gear we can. And most people consider a bait casting reel to be the pinnacle of the type of tackle we would use. A spinning reel, like what I use, an open face spinning reel, has always worked great for me in my life. It's what I'm used to, and it's what I prefer. But I'm not at that pinnacle either, like some of these tournament fishermen are. And then I think, okay, so what do you give a kid when they're first starting to fish? What is the best thing to give them? Do you want to give them a bait casting reel? Do you want to give them a spinning reel? Or what most beginners back years ago would start with is a push button reel. It's closed off. The line isn't lying loose like it is on the other two. It's all contained inside a closed cone-shaped spool. And then you push a button and it opens the bail-like mechanism inside. In other words, there's nothing holding the line, and you cast, and as soon as you start to reel, it closes it up again. These are considered very rudimentary, very basic. They're not a great tool for people to fish with, but I think for starting a kid, it's the very best. You want to keep it simple. They're out there trying to discover something, and if you make it more difficult, they're going to lose interest. They're going to feel like they're in class in school and being made to learn something. So by having something that is so easy for them to use, just push a button and pretend you're throwing a ball, throw it out there, and when you get out there, then just reel the handle, a couple clicks, and you're all ready to go. And that's all it takes. So how basic and how rudimentary is this system? Can you catch fish with it? Of course you can. Can you catch big fish with it? Well, the really cheap ones, the very starter ones, don't have a very great drag system in them. So they don't have a lot of power that's with them in case you do catch a big fish or hook into a big fish. But in today's world, they've got some pretty good closed-face spinning reels that you could actually stick with. My point is that tackle is okay. And I remember through my dad's whole life, he's the one that was a better fisherman than me. He's the one that taught me about fishing. He started with a fly rod, and when spinning tackle came in, he didn't want to use an open face spinning reel. He didn't like it. He used his whole life a closed face spinning reel. It was a Johnson Guide series. I remember getting it for him for one of his birthdays, and that stuck with him right up until he was in his 80s and would go out and try to cast. And so, again, sometimes we make fishing so difficult, so involved, so specific. And sometimes it's best just to take something simple and go out and just have fun. And that's what I think is the most important thing in starting kids off. So my recommendation is, if you're thinking of getting your kids some tackle for this spring, get them into fishing or give them a chance to see if they want to get into fishing. I think it's the best first step. Don't make it too difficult. Just let them go out and have fun. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.